and let's begin. So, welcome to Love Mastery. I would imagine that you are here. Let's see if I can move this around a little bit. I would imagine that you're here because something in the title, either Love Mastery, because who doesn't want that, or Freedom and Abundance Through Love, something popped out at you. And you're like, yes, please, I would like that. I get it, right? I totally get it. I mean, I created it because of that very reason. Who doesn't want love mastery? And freedom, freedom from shame, from fear, that like there's so many things, the list goes on. Time freedom, financial freedom, and then, of course, abundance through love. And I'm going to teach you today exactly how to get these things in your life. Okay, so welcome. My name is Trudy Stoner. You may be a part of my world. You may be brand new to my world. Whatever the case, I'm so happy that you're here and I welcome you. So today I am going to take you through some slides and we're going to talk about love. We're going to talk about what love really is, and I'm going to talk to you about what it is to energetically align with the vibration of love so that then you create and become magnetic for all manner of abundance in your life. How does that sound? So, because this is recorded and not live, I don't have the ability to converse with you with chat. But I'll tell you what, if you leave me comments, because this is going to be on YouTube, if you leave me comments, I will go in and answer them for you. Okay. Or always feel free to join my world. You can find me at trudystoner.com. Follow me on Facebook. And I have groups on Facebook that I would love to have you in: Uncaged Woman and Finding Forever Love. So, okay, little housekeeping. Turn off your phone, okay? Be here now. Be here present with me. Let's align with love. I'm going to teach you stuff in the next probably 40 minutes, not that long, that could change your life forever. So, let's show up. Let's do this thing. Grab a notepad and a pen and maybe your favorite beverage. Since you are watching this on replay, you can just hit pause and come right back, and then we'll dive straight in. So, getting started, I want to actually pause this slide for just 2 minutes here. Let me tell you who this is for. So, this is for women who have a sense and a longing for something more. It's not that anything is necessarily missing, it's just that it's your time, it's your season. You can sense it, you can feel it, you desire it. There's a calling, there's a desire inside of you to really step into who you are. You want to live your life authentically. You want to be loved and accepted for who you truly are. You are completely done with the people pleasing. That is yesterday's news. You don't want toxic love in your life anymore. You want to experience next level love. If you're partnered, you want to take your relationship to a next level. You don't want the same old, same old. Maybe you are feeling a little restless. And if you are single and you're like, you know what? I either want to really embrace being single and enjoy my life, create a life that I absolutely love, or I want to find my person. And I mean, I want to find my soulmate. How do I do that? Where are they? I don't know how to do this. So if any of this is resonating in you and you're like, "Oh my gosh, yes, yes, please, all of it," then you're in the right place. Because I used to be exactly like that, exactly like you. And I got to a place in life where there were so many toxic cycles that had to be broken, and I didn't know where to begin. And it's I'll tell you the story a little bit more as we go along, but basically it happened in like an aha moment. And I decided, you know what? I'm going to love myself first. And going through that process, I learned what love really was. And it all just took off from there. So let's talk about fear. Fear is like the number one thing that holds people back. Seriously, think about it. Think about all the time in your life that you have spent wasted on fear or worry about things that never, ever came to pass? Come on, like how much time? If you could go back in hindsight, what would you change when it comes to fear? At the end of your life, when you look back, I want you to be able to look back and say, thank God I got rid of fear. Thank God when I was this old or this old or this old, and I had the aha moment when I was on the master class with Trudy, I decided to dump fear once and for all because it's completely not productive. There's the kind of fear, right? Like you've all heard it where you have to run from the tiger. I get that. But most of us don't have to run from tigers. So, what are we really afraid of? Get deeper. What are you really afraid of? Most of us are afraid of things like rejection, abandonment, not being lovable, not being accepted. We're afraid of lack, scarcity, not having enough. We're afraid of health problems, maybe having issues. We're afraid of being out of control. But really, ask yourself, where has worrying and being in a state of fear ever helped you? I'm sure it has in some ways. Maybe it's propelled you to take action. So it's not always bad. But the majority of time that we spend being afraid of something, I think we could do without. And that's where number one on the list, when it comes to freedom, people want freedom from fear. And I'm going to give you a tool that's going to really help with this. So I'm going to introduce you to 3 principles. And these principles were discovered by a Scottish welder named Sid Banks way a long time ago. And he basically went out and changed the world of psychology with this. So the 3 principles are universal laws, like the law of gravity. So these aren't like just woo-woo concepts. These are actually universal laws. The 3 principles: mind, thought, and consciousness. So universal mind, think of it: God, infinite intelligence, source energy, anything you want to call it, universe. It is the infinite intelligence behind life. It is what turns an acorn into an oak tree. It's what heals the cut. It is the life force that is within all of us, universal mind. Then there is thought. Now, Michael Neill talks about, and you see the quote here, Michael Neill is one of my favorite authors, and he talks about the 3 principles in his books, the Space Within and the Inside Out Revolution. I highly recommend them both. They changed my life. So thought, he says, capital T, thought, like that comes from universal mind. It's ideas, concepts that come in constantly all day, every day, thought. And then we have little t, thought, which is our thinking. What do we choose to think about? Because we do have a choice. Where do we focus our attention? What are the thoughts that are coming into our mind that are habitual? That's small thought, small t, thought. And then finally, consciousness. It is the part that makes us aware of it all. We're aware that we are alive. We're aware that we're thinking because of consciousness. Okay, so why does this matter to you? Because when you understand the principle of thought, you can turn everything around. Like Wayne Dyer said, change your thought, change your life. And it is absolutely the truth. Once we understand that our thoughts are creating our experience of life and our reality, we have the power to make a difference in our lives. Think about this. From the moment you're born until the moment you take your last breath, you are running every experience through the filter of your thinking. So no 2 human beings will ever have the exact same experience because it is going through the filter of our unique thought. And so what influences our thought, especially when it comes to love? Our stories and our personal beliefs, which is thought. All of our thought creates these illusions that we believe are reality. So now imagine this, when we're born, babies don't need therapy. We are innately well, innately whole, and we are love. I personally believe that we are spiritual beings having a human experience. We are love. We come from love. We return to love. So we show up here and we're like clean slate. We are love and we are ready to love. Babies don't hold back. They don't question, right? I spent time last night with one of my grandchildren, and she is about to turn 1. And she is a little bundle of love. She receives it, she gives it, and she doesn't spend any time wasted on whether or not that person should get it, whether she owes them, whether they deserve it, whether she deserves it, whether she should ask for it. None of that. She's just freely gives and receives love. And what happens when we start to grow up is we learn about love in particular, but all of life. Okay. So I'm a love coach, so I'm going to lean in that direction. But we learn from what we witness, what we see, what we hear, what we're told, and what we experience, what we feel. So we learn a lot of times that love is something outside of us. It is not something we be, it is something we have to do. We have to be good enough to get it. It's something external. We're never taught that it's something that we are. And so what happens is we start to use it like a barter. And if we're good enough, we'll get love. If we're bad, we'll be punished and what love will be withheld. Now, I'm not saying this is the way it was in every home. This is the way it was in my home. And we all start to establish and create our own stories based upon what happens to us and how we witness and hear and see what we're told about love when we're little. So for me personally, I was adopted, and my biological mom had hid her entire pregnancy from her family. And then she successfully put me up for adoption without anybody being any wiser. I'm not sure how she did that, but she pulled it off. And so deep cellular memory is a sensation of shame because, like, think about the energy here in the womb energetically. Like, what was she feeling that I was picking up like a little sponge? And then when I was born, any bonding that happened, there was bonding and then separation. So I was born and I wasn't placed in my mother's loving arms. I was taken away, probably by a very loving, caring, well-meaning nurse, a bond, and then a separation. I was more than likely put into foster care. I'm not sure because I wasn't adopted permanently until I was 3 months old. So I bonded with someone for the first 3 months of my life, and then again a separation. So is it any wonder that when I got older, I started to see a pattern of anxious attachment? I was anxiously attached to me because I didn't want to be alone, and I had an absolutely deep-seated fear of rejection and abandonment. I didn't know where this came from at the time. I didn't find my biological family until about 11 years ago. I'm 58 years old. So for most of my life, I had no idea where the anxious attachment style came from, why I was so afraid of rejection and abandonment. Those are my core stories and beliefs that I formed, and then they run in the background subconsciously with every relationship that I ever had. So you can just well imagine what kind of romantic relationships that I attracted and was attracted to in my adult life. So when I learned this about how our thoughts create our reality, everything changed for me because suddenly I went, oh my gosh, I can change this. I have some control over this. This doesn't have to be the way it is. All my stories that I've told myself about love are wrong. And so when I start working with a client, I say, tell me your love story. And I'm not talking about romantic love. And I'm not talking about romantic history. I mean, tell me your story. Tell me the story that you tell yourself about love. That's what I'm talking about. Once we uncover those stories and those beliefs, we can rewrite our love stories. So look at this quote here. We are only ever one thought away from a completely different experience of being alive. That goes across the board in our life. Think about that. When you are like thinking so many scary, fearful, insecure thoughts, you can choose a better feeling, thought. You can choose a different thought. Let me give you an example. If you're working and you're at work and you're sitting at your desk and you're super, super busy, and all of a sudden a thought pops into your head, what are we going to have for dinner? Now, let me ask you, do you put your work aside? Do you stop everything? Do you tell your boss to hold on for a minute because you got to figure out what you're going to do for dinner? No, of course not. You know that that's something you can't think about right now. And so you let the thought go. You don't let it come in and consume you. You just let it pass by. You let it go. You have the power to do that with all thought. You just think you can't. See what I did there? You just think you can't, but you absolutely can. And this gets tricky because it's everything. You have the ability to choose how you're going to react or respond to everything that happens in your life. And perspective is everything. Think about the rainy Saturday afternoon that for the bride who's been planning an outdoor wedding and has no plan B, it's devastating. But for the farmer whose crops are being ruined by the drought and he can't feed his family, it's a celebration. It's the same external event, but two different people, completely two different experiences. And you can do that with everything by shifting the way that you see it. And I am going to teach you how to see things through the eyes of love. So this is a great quote from Sid Banks. Remember, and this is very important, you are only one thought away from happiness. You are only one thought away from sadness. The secret lies in thought. It is the missing link that everybody in this world is looking for. It's a gift that we were given and have the freedom to walk through life and see what we want to see. How much better than that can you get? What you have the freedom to walk, or that you have the freedom to walk through life and see it as a free thinker. That's the greatest gift ever, to be a free thinker. So this is your first key to freedom. And then this occurred to me, and I actually wrote this, like, what if it's not love, but our thoughts about love that create our suffering? That one's huge, right? It's the truth. It is our thoughts. It's not love. Love does not break hearts. People do. And our misconceptions and our misunderstanding about love is what leads us down that path. And we're going to clear that out. So let's talk about energy now, because we've talked about thought. We've talked about the three principles. We're talking moving into freedom. Let's talk about our energy. So everyone knows, right? It's scientifically proven we're all energy. We're all made of energy. Everything is energy. And there's low vibrations, there's high vibrations. And David Hawkins, Dr. David Hawkins, wrote about this in his book, Power versus Force. And he did like a linear example where anything above 200, as far as an energetic calibration of frequency, that it was considered a high vibration. Anything below 200 is a low vibration. So things like despair, doubt, worry, fear, shame, guilt, anxiety, despair, low energies. Anger is actually a little bit higher. It moves you up the scale. And then there's things like hope and curiosity and really high up love and joy. And so for a very long time, I heard many, many, many teachers talking about how with the law of attraction, I'm sure you've heard of it, that we are like tuning forks. I've said it myself, and we will always be attracting. And so if we want to know like what vibration that we are predominantly putting out, just pay attention to your results, because you'll see what you're attracting, because like attracts like. And this is all very true. But the question that came up was, how is it possible that if I'm like, there's people that hit rock bottom and they're just at their lowest point, and then something really great happens in their life. They win the lottery, they get the best job, everything turns around. How is that possible if we're like tuning forks and they're in the depths of despair? Because energetically, we are so much more complex than just that linear thinking. The energy in the universe is so much more complex than that. I heard or I read a quantum physicist, and I cannot remember her name, and I'm so sorry about that, but she talked about how the universe just doesn't work like that. Like energy is constantly moving and in spirals and woven and in. And so we actually have the capacity to hold different vibrations. Now, what we're going to attract from is our point of attraction, what's strongest in us. So that is important to know. Your strongest, highest vibration in you is what's going to be your point, or the strongest vibration in you. It doesn't have to be a high one. The strongest vibration in you is what's going to be your point of attraction and what you're bringing into your life. And so again, look for feedback. What are your results? What's coming into your life? Now I have a picture of an ocean here, and it's pretty calm. And I'm using this as an example to show you that, like, if you were the ocean, if you're not just a drop in the ocean. People say that all the time, like take it out of the ocean, put it back, you're a drop in the ocean. What if you're with a whole ocean? What if you have the ability, just like the ocean, sometimes it's very calm. Sometimes the tide comes in, the tide goes out. There's rough seas, there's calm seas, there's all of it. There's different depths, just like us. But the ocean doesn't ever say, "Oh, I only have room for this." No, it holds it all. And you have the ability to hold it all. You can handle the high tides, the low tides, the ebbs, the flows, the stormy seas, the calm seas. This is what happens in life, right? And we learn to go with the flow. We learn to handle this. And when we do, we can stay in a higher vibration because we know and trust that we can hold it all. We stop judging the lower emotions. We stop the dialogue that says, "Oh my gosh, I can't feel sad. I can't feel angry. I can't feel shame. I can't feel anything that's a lower emotion because that's what I'm going to attract into my life. And I don't want to attract that. So I got to stay in a high vibe, high vibe. And then we try and fake it till we make it. But that doesn't work either. When you acknowledge, when you witness, when you are there for those lower vibrational emotions, when you feel sad, feel sad. When you feel angry, check your thoughts. Maybe move into like response from reaction, because that's just a good thing to do, but allow it. Like, it's okay to feel all the things. You can hold it all. And just in so doing, you will naturally start to raise your vibration. And I'm getting like goosebumps as I say this. Like, you will naturally start to raise your vibration, and that will become your dominant vibration, which will become your point of attraction. That's important to think about, because what we're working towards here is, when we're creating this life of abundance, we want to become magnetic. So love, to me, I put my glasses down, I couldn't find them, is energy. It's one of, if not the highest vibration in the universe. And love is what we are. It is where we come from and where we return to as spiritual beings having a human experience. Love is infinite, infinite intelligence, source energy, creativity, wisdom. Love is God. And I wrote this years ago, but is still so deeply applicable because we are hardwired for love. We can talk about self-love and love for others. There's lots of different kinds of love. So if you're not partnered, no worry. There's so much. Love is so abundant. Us looking for love is like a fish looking for water. It's everywhere, and it's all of us, and it's in us. But we are hardwired for love. Excuse me, we all want it. We all desire it in our lives. And the heart's deepest longing is to love, to be the hub for this incredible energy in our body. When the heart recognizes its home in another, it begs to be set free, unrestrained, and unprotected. It is through deep vulnerability that we are truly set free. The walls feel protective, but are simply a cage holding us back and preventing deep, lasting, long love. So, how many of you have done this? Have you ever felt like you had a wall built around your heart? Do you feel like you don your armor? You put your armor on, you armor up, to protect your heart. Have you ever felt so heartbroken that you're like, I'm giving up? I don't want love. I don't need love. I'm not doing that again. I'm giving up. Have you ever done that? Have you ever felt like that? Only to find yourself like circling back around because we have a deep longing. And this armor that we put on, I have a whole class, masterclass, another masterclass called Armor Down that talks about vulnerability so that we can actually attract the love that we really want. It doesn't come from armoring up, it comes from armoring down. It comes from like taking risks and actually allowing yourself to love. Because at the end of the day, at the end of your lifetime, what's going to matter most is that we loved. So let's talk about let's jump into the romantic part and where we went wrong and where we got to this point that we're giving up. Forget it. Screw it. I'm done. So many times it's because we either get into relationships with people that are inauthentic, not honest, not truthful, and we're left like broadsided going, oh my God, did I even know him? Did I even know her? But other times we abandon ourselves. We become the chameleon. We become the fraud. And we don't do it on purpose. It's just that we're operating from a storyline that says that we have to be good enough, that we have to prove ourselves somehow, that love is something we have to get. Instead of showing up and looking for a partner that's in perfect alignment with us, so that then we actually experience a love that blooms and develops on its own instead of one that we're trying to force. When we become a chameleon and it's like, oh, okay, all right, I know that you need me to be X, Y, and Z for you to love me, for me to get your love, so I can be X, Y, and Z. We have now abandoned ourselves. So we want to stay in our truest authentic self. And this happens from self-love. This happens when we fall in love with ourselves. We gain crystal clear clarity about what it is that we want from life and in love. And we're not willing to compromise. We are not willing to abandon ourselves for the sake of getting love. We understand that love is an energetic force. You think the ocean is powerful? Woo! Align with the vibration of love. It is so powerful. And that we become magnetic to that. When we fall in love with ourselves, and that's the energy we're putting out, we become magnetic to love that is healthy and that is more consciously aware. And that's when we experience next level love. So this is one of my favorite quotes ever. When the tide comes in, all the boats rise. So what do I mean by that when it comes to love? When we align with the energy of love, abundance comes in to every area of our lives, not just romantically, but you will see an uptick in all areas of your life simply because love is the highest vibration. When we align with love, we are vibrating at such a high calibration that is what comes into us. So we will start to see changes, people like complimenting us and wanting to be near us and wanting to talk to us, and we'll like attract the right job or the right opportunities. Doors will open where they were not open before. And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, my life is changing. What happened? What happened, my friend, is you got to know what love was. You fell in love with yourself and you became magnetic. And this has a ripple effect for the entire planet. Have you ever noticed that when you go out and you are in a great mood, that you just naturally attract people? And the same is true energetically when you're just in a bad mood, you're having a really bad day, and you go out and you're almost like a people repellent. It's the ripple effect. And it happens all the time. And they have done studies where they follow a person and they follow each interaction and how that ripples out. So say one person gets up in the morning, interacts with their child. The child goes to school, interacts with 30 friends. Those 30 friends go and they interact with so many people, and then they interact with so many people. And you're talking about hundreds of thousands of people by the end of a day have been affected by the energy of the one person that started that day, that started that ripple. It's true for you. So think about that when you're aligning with love. Think about that when you're reacting or responding through life. This is another strong point for really understanding what love is and creating abundance in your life. So I love this little story. I don't know if you've ever heard it, but I'm going to tell you the starfish story. There's a woman, older woman, and a little boy, and they're walking along the seashore. And they notice that there are like thousands of starfish all along the beach. And the little boy starts picking them up and throwing them back into the ocean. And the woman says, like, why even bother? You can't possibly pick them all up and put them back in the ocean. What difference is it going to make? And as he picks up a starfish and he throws it in the ocean, he says, it made a difference to that one. And I want you to think about that as you go through your day. My mission in my business is to make a difference one heart at a time. Actually, my mission statement is changing the world one heart at a time. Because when I'm in alignment with the love of the universe, peace cannot be disrupted. Think about that for my ripple effect. If my peace cannot be disrupted by external circumstances, how would that change the world? How would it change the world if you adopted this? This is from the book, The Universe Has Your Back, and I highly recommend it. So I want to introduce you now. It's like I wish I had a drum roll, da, 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 to Uncaged Woman. So if you've been in my world for any little bit, you've heard of it. Uncaged Woman is a program that I created a few years ago. And you may be tempted to hop off here and go, oh, she's about to sell me something. And while I do have an invitation for you, I also have a gift for you. And I think this might be something that you want to hear. So stick around, okay? Don't jump off. Uncaged Woman is a labor of love. Oh my gosh, it's my heart's deepest calling. It is a program that I created, and it is a 12-week program that I have done live with a group of women, and it has been exceptional. And we have gone through incredible transformation in a 12-week period and had guest experts, and it was just a wonderful, wonderful experience. And that is something that I will do again, and I will be opening doors for that in March. But that's not what I'm here to talk to you about today. So Uncaged Woman was such a success and it was so wonderful. But then when we were done, it was like, what do we do now? So that is when Uncaged Woman, the membership, was born. And I created an online portal, a location that you can come online called Uncaged Woman, the membership, where you have access 24/7, 365 days a year. Think about it like a love Netflix, if you will. And you can come on and see interviews with guest experts and master classes and training from me and coaching from me and community with other women. And I'm going to dive into it and like tell you what it's all about right now. If you will stick with me, please. So inside Uncaged Woman, there are master classes. And I go live and teach one masterclass a month. And the membership is for 1 year. And you can make payments on that or you can do it in one swoop, but it is just for 1 year because it is transformational. It is 1 year for you, 1 year to fall deeply in love with you and to become uncaged. So before I go into some of these master classes, this is just an example. I want to talk to you about why I created Uncaged Woman. So deep inside of me, like I said at the very beginning of this call, there was this unrest. I had been in relationships since I was 16 years old and not with the same person. I had done a series of toxic relationships and marriages. And at 50, I literally heard a divine intervention that said, enough. And I knew I was done. I knew I was done, not with love, because I'm like, oh, I've always, always been so drawn to love. But I knew I was done with toxic love and codependency and toxic cycles. And so I wanted to break those cycles. And I knew the first step was to fall in love with me. And in order to do that, I realized that, whoa, I don't even know what love is. So I needed to fall in love with love. I needed to understand love. I needed to really do a deep dive into what love really is, and then fall in love with me and create a life that I absolutely loved. And that is what I've been working on for the last 8 years. And let me tell you something. The first 50 years of my life was one way. The last 8 years was like a quantum leap for me. Everything changed. My God, I became a love coach of all things. That was not something I chose. That chose me. That was a divine guidance. That was absolutely divine intervention that I became a love coach. Because I would have told you, are you kidding me right now? Like I should have a PhD in what not to do in love. I'm the last person to be a love coach. But guess what? I was actually the chosen one to be a love coach because everything that I had been through in those 50 years from birth and my stories about love all through my relationships into my healing process and into the book that I've written, all of the things were preparing me to help others when it came to love. So now I feel like, oh my gosh, what a gift to wake up in the morning and be able to do this for a living. All my days are spent immersed in the energy of love and helping other women get there too. And I wanted to share it. And I wanted to make it part of a daily practice, a day to day, and a transformation in a woman's life. And that's where Uncaged Woman was born. I thought, I want the woman that wants to be free. She wants to be authentic. She wants to be accepted. She wants to be accepting. She wants to be empowered. All the things, whatever it means to you, because my friend, the cage, here's a spoiler alert, the cage is of our own making. We made it up. Remember that thought? We created the cage and we've always held the key. And so in Uncaged Woman, I help you break free. And so these are some of the courses: Fearless She, Savoring Single, Armor Down, Heal Your Heart, The Precipice, Unashamed, Love Alchemy. These are so, they're just downloads. They're just divine teachings, and I love them. Manifest Quickly, Life After Toxic Love, Heal, and Phoenix Ignited. Now, these are what I will be teaching once a month live. I'll be doing these master classes inside the membership. The membership right now is under construction. I launched the membership a while ago with founders only. And these founders have been working with me. They're kind of like an advisory board, helping me tweak and fine tune and getting it ready for you. And now it's going through its final little iteration and facelift so that it is perfect for you. And so doors will open on March 1st. So it's not quite there yet, but I'm doing a pre-sale right now, which is why I'm doing this masterclass, to do an introduction for you and an invitation for you. Here's some more of the courses that I will be teaching this year inside of the membership. We're going to have a category about abundance through love, modern day dating, soul-centered simplicity, love story, and finding forever love. There's a community here. It's incredible. So beginning with my founders, who are the most amazing women on the planet, they become sisters. We've all become sisters. We have been walking this journey together. And so creating this community that you come into where you feel held and supported and celebrated and loved by a sisterhood, it's incredible. So that's something that you can look forward to. We do weekly calls and connection, and that is with me. And because I'm training in the master classes, these weekly calls are for you. Q&A, live coaching, all the things, so that we can get to know each other deeply. So this is really what it boils down to for me. When you follow your bliss, and the universe will open doors for you where there were only walls. And that's it. The moment I committed to this, the moment I said Uncaged Woman was born, everything changed. Doors started to open. I met the right people. My business is taken off. It's like, once we align, we become magnetic. Remember, when the tide comes in, all the boats rise. Once I followed my bliss and I aligned with love, all of a sudden, all manner of abundance, and you can do it too. You can do it too. Your life can actually change today. So I want to talk to you about some bonuses I have for you. When I talk about this, since I said, you won't have access to the membership until March 1st, but we will have access immediately to these bonuses. A 30-day love challenge. This is a fun, flirty, playful self-care assignment that is 30 days long. And it is just, you pop into Kajabi and every day it's going to give you a prompt of something that you do for you to fall in love with you and put a little spring in your step. You also, now, every new member, this is important to distinguish. Every new member of the membership has a strategy call with me. And a strategy call is where I talk to you about your love story, and then I go into the membership with you and I help you map out a strategy, because there's a lot of content in there and you can get lost easily. And I don't want that to happen. I want to help you create your yellow brick road. Now, you're always welcome to go in like a library and just like peruse and spend time there. But most people do really, really well when they have a plan and a path to follow. So that's what we do with our strategy call. But here's one of the bonuses. You actually get a 1-hour love coaching session with me. And this is coaching where I will help you dive deep into your love story and answer your questions about love. And then I have created an Uncaged Woman workbook. This is a gorgeous, big 32-page workbook to help you get to the root of what it means to be uncaged to you and what you want to create in your life as an uncaged woman. Normally, that workbook is reserved only for the participants of Uncaged Woman Live, the 12-week program. But I'm going to include it as a bonus for you, and you'll get immediate access as soon as you sign up, so that you can have it done by the time the doors open on the 1st. It could be done ahead of the game. The other benefit you get from being a member is you get 20% off all of my other programs and my one-on-one coaching. That's a significant discount. So I want to do that for members only. So here you go. Here is my pre-sale early bird special for you, my gift to you. Normally, now this is a 12-month membership. It's a 12-month program. You can make payments. So you can either do prepaid and full, which actually gives you a discount of $222. You save a couple $100, or you can make monthly payments of $111. But for you guys, because this is the early bird pre-sale, if you act now, you're going to get grandfathered in for as long as you're in the membership for $88 a month. It was on the payment plan for 12 months, or $888 prepaid in full. And it gets even better because I want to give more. When I open the doors in March for Uncaged Woman Live, which is my signature program, this is the whole enchilada. That program goes for $22.22, but you can use your membership fee as a credit towards the purchase of Uncaged Woman Live. That's like sticking money in the bank. And it is so worth it. The testimonials I have for this program, and you'll see, because when I launch Uncaged Woman Live as a member of Uncaged Woman, the membership, you're going to be the first to know. You are absolutely going to be the first to know, and you're going to be able to use your credit if that's something that you want to do. So I hope this is speaking to you. I genuinely hope that you're like sitting up a little straighter. You're like, oh my God, I want in. How do I get in? Breaking the doors down here, so to speak, because this is transformational. This is life-changing. The information that I have been so beautifully divinely given about love is special. And I feel so blessed to be able to do this. I love working with women and helping them become uncaged. So I really hope that you will join us inside the membership, and then possibly inside Uncaged Woman Live. Like I said, there's more to come. So how do you take advantage of this? How do you get inside and become a member? So you go to trudystoner.com. Go there right now if you want to. And there's a link at the top the membership. Click on that. And then this is so important. Use the coupon code presale. All one word, all caps, presale. That's the coupon code. Use that to get this discount. And then you will have emails, you'll get your bonuses, you'll have a link to book your call with me, and you can get started right out the gate, because then next week on the 1st, you're going to have access inside the membership and you're off to the races. All right. I hope this sounds incredible to you as it does to me. I can't wait to work with you. I can't wait to see you on the inside. And remember this, you guys. The woman you are becoming will cost you people, relationships, spaces, and material things. Choose her over everything. All right, I'm sending you all my love, and I will see you inside the membership.